Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about the technology that's literally giving AI a pair of eyes. And believe me, it's changing everything.
Just stop and think about that for a second. We talk to AI with words, but our world is so visual, right? So much of our information, our data, is in images. What if AI could finally see what we see?
All right, let's just get right into it. The AI tools we all use, large language models, they have a fundamental problem. They're absolute wizards with text. But show them a picture, it's a total blind spot. They get nothing.
And that is a massive limitation. We know how powerful LLMs are, but they're cut off from this huge part of human knowledge, the part that isn't written down in words.
So here's the nuts and bolts of it. An LLM works by taking text, any text, and chopping it up into these little numerical pieces called tokens. It's a brilliant system for understanding language, but a photo, a chart, and a PDF, even just a simple diagram, to the LLM, it might as well not even be there.
And that's where this new kind of AI makes its grand entrance. This technology was built for one reason: to finally connect the world of language with the world of vision.
So, simply put, a vision language model, or VLM for short, is an AI that can do both. You give it a picture, you ask it a question in plain English, and it gives you a text answer back. It's truly multimodal. It speaks both languages.
Okay, so AI gets a superpower. What does that actually mean for us? What can it do? This goes way beyond just identifying a cat in a photo. Let's check out some of the wild applications.
We're talking about a whole new suite of abilities that were just science fiction a few years ago. We can ask it complex questions about a photo, have it generate a caption on the fly, or even get it to break down the data in a complicated chart.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. It's not just playing I Spy. It doesn't just say car and red light. It understands the relationship, the context. It knows the car is waiting because the light is red. It's making an inference.
Or think about this for a practical, everyday task. You can snap a picture of a crumpled old receipt, and the VLM can read it, pull out every line item, organize them, and tell you the grand total. It takes visual chaos and turns it into structured, useful information.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth does this actually work under the hood? How does an AI merge a picture with a text prompt to create a single, coherent thought? Well, the engineering is pretty ingenious.
This was the central puzzle that researchers had to crack. How do you get a model that thinks exclusively in words to suddenly understand pictures and, even crazier, to think about them both at the same time?
It all happens through this really clever multi-step process. The whole goal, basically, is to translate the image into a language the large language model can already speak so it can process it right alongside your text prompt.
So, it all starts with the vision encoder. You can think of this as the AI's eye. It looks at the image and doesn't see a dog, it sees a collection of patterns, textures, and edges. It then converts all that visual info into a series of numbers, which we call feature vectors.
Now those numbers are great, but the LLM can't read them directly. It only speaks token. That's where the projector comes in. It's like a universal adapter. It takes those feature vectors and packages them into a format the LLM loves, tokens. Now we have special image tokens.
And this is where the magic really happens. The LLM is fed a stream of information containing both the regular text tokens from your question and these brand new image tokens. It processes them all together, and for the first time it can see the direct link between the word dog in your prompt and the actual pixels of a dog in the image.
Now, as incredible as all this sounds, this technology is still very new. And like any major breakthrough, it's powerful, but it's not perfect. There are some serious challenges that people are working hard to solve.
There are a few big ones. Just processing high-resolution images takes a ton of computing power, which can create bottlenecks. And then there's the really tricky stuff, like biases hidden in the data and the fact that sometimes these models just confidently make things up.
This idea of hallucinations is a huge deal. You have to remember, the AI isn't truly seeing like a human. It's an unbelievably good pattern matcher. And sometimes it matches the wrong pattern, leading it to generate a description that sounds perfectly reasonable, but is just flat out wrong.
And you can imagine how dangerous that could be in a high-stakes field like medicine. A model that hasn't been specifically fine-tuned on medical data could look at a healthy X-ray, mistake a shadow for something serious, and confidently report a fracture that simply doesn't exist.
But even with these hurdles, the big picture here is nothing short of revolutionary. The fundamental takeaway is that AI is moving beyond just being a text machine. It can now see, interpret, and start to reason about the visual world in a way that is so much closer to how we operate.
Which leaves us with one final, really provocative question to chew on. We are actively building AI that can perceive our world visually. How is that going to change our own world and our entire relationship with technology itself?